This is Yankee News. I'm in Hadley, Massachusetts at another Donald Trump protest. Let's see how this goes. And don't forget to subscribe and follow me on all platforms, Yankee News, period, 1776. Thank you. Excuse me, sir. Would you like to do an interview of what brought you out here today?
I'm protesting the protesters.
Are you? Great. I'm protesting them as well.
I don't want to do this.
You sure? I'm not for the protest.
I don't want to be associated with those guys. You know?
You're not going to be associated. I just want to hear your opinion about the protest.
I don't want it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I don't want to be.
I disagree. I disagree with them. If you want to, I want to hear your opinion on liberal Massachusetts. If you would be willing to have just a few comments.
Not me. I don't want to go because then I'll feel embarrassed because I'm not a good communicator.
Oh, fair enough.
Oh man, I didn't say it right.
Fair enough. You're good. Yeah. So everyone, that's a protester here in Massachusetts protesting this protest. So it's nice to see someone who agrees with me out here. Man, what brought you out here today? What's leaving MAGA mean?
You can scan it.
How do immigrants make America great again? Excuse me, sir. I was wondering if you'd like to do an interview of what brought you out here today.
No, thank you.
Do you like fascism?
No, thank you.
Resist fascism.
Yes, sir.
What's fascist about this government?
I don't want to talk to you.
That's what I'm at. If you don't,
I don't want to talk to you.
Everybody? What brought you out here today, man? It's nice seeing you again.
You either.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. Bye.
So people, these are two protesters here who come out to protest the administration, yet when they're given coverage or given a voice, they're quiet for some reason, which is very strange. I like to, they seem like mimes to me. I think they're clowns personally.
Hey, yeah, I didn't know that. So what do you got? Like what is this? Or is this? See, I want to hear what you had to say because you probably can say it a lot better than I can say it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're wasting their time out here. This is a nice Saturday where they could be at home, they could be in the gym, they could be with their families, yet they're protesting something they can't even speak for. I asked these people to say why they're out here, but they can't. They don't know why they're here. The mainstream media tells them what to do, and it's sad, honestly, to be that brainwashed.
Why settle for an ordinary pizza cutter when you can slice with the power of the American Eagle? The American Eagle pizza cutter is forged for patriots who believe every slice should be a victory for freedom. Slice with pride and serve with freedom. Get yours now, link in the bio.
Hey, how's it going? I'm back. It's a pleasure seeing you again. Nathan.
It was Nathan.
It was. Good job. Yeah, I appreciate that.
I had Nathan in there, but I did not honestly remember for sure that it was Nathan. I was like, maybe that dude's Nathan.
So you're here again. You're here at another protest. You're here again.
You're here again. And you're here again.
I can't stop.
Do you, like me, have nothing to do with your life? Apparently.
I like open dialogue is what I like.
Okay, well, you'll have to go talk to somebody else because we already had it.
But we didn't touch on major...
One of us in the intervening, whatever, it's been 2 weeks or 1 week or whatever it was.
It's been 2 weeks, yeah. So how do you feel about the White House renovations?
the demolition of the East Wing?
Yeah, the building of a ballroom.
I really hope that, because there was some old stuff in there, so at a minimum, I hope they had a place like down in Springfield, for example. If you there's a business, Associated Building Records, that goes into buildings, old buildings that you're tearing down and pulls out like pieces from it that people might want to put into their house, like mantelpieces and preserving. This is just not wasting it because it's not preserving.
How do you feel that he's paying for himself?
So I really hope they did that, but I don't get the impression that happened, or we might have seen it on eBay already. Because unlike building records people who just have stuff from anonymous sort of old houses, this is actually the White House. So there would be some added value to the same exact mantelpiece just because of where it came from. Yeah. So I doubt that they did that. I think that's really just sort of stupid.
You doubt they paid for it themselves?
I didn't say. I doubt that they. I doubt that they had somebody come in and do some salvage work before.
Based off of what?
Well, because I haven't seen anybody crowing about how they got this steal of a beautiful fireplace from the East Wing. Which I don't know, maybe there were no fireplaces in it, but given its age, there probably were, because in the day. Right. So I'm just sort of that's at the most trivial level. I feel like it's just sort of a waste, and far from necessary. Yeah, because the necessity of a ballroom, somehow or other, up until now, the United States government managed to function without a ballroom.
Yeah, it's better than a basketball court like Obama did, but that was taxpayer funded.
And it also went through a process, an approval process, as opposed to just on the say-so of Obama. There's a whole, because it's a historic building and historic place. And it was, I believe, the basketball court was replacing a tennis court. So it's not like...
There was nothing there.
It's not like they were... Well, I think it was...
There was nothing there.
I think it was where there was a tennis court, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Because, again, I'm not an expert either on the East Wing. I don't know. Maybe there's no fireplace.
Do you know if Obama's administration preserved anything?
Of the tennis court you say wasn't there? Yeah, I imagine they did not preserve the tennis court that was not there.
No, I'm asking, do you know if the Obama administration preserved any artifacts or documents or anything from the White House that was previously there when they built their basketball court?
Like I said, if, as you say, there was nothing where they built it, there wouldn't be any documents or art, anything, or mantelpieces or door frames or paneling or anything like that to preserve.
Well, for example, they're building a ballroom over Jackie Kennedy's garden, so they have gardens and stuff and things that are in memorials of previous presidents.
Also the Rose Garden?
Yeah, so I'm asking you. My question to you is, my question. Listen. I let you finish. Please let me finish. So I'm asking you.
The Rose Garden.
I'm asking you if did Obama preserve anything like that was previously there before he built his basketball court for himself?
Well, not where the basketball court was, because he didn't put it in the place of the Rose Garden, for example.
Where was it? Where did he put the basketball court?
I have no idea. I heard that there had been a tennis court there before.
And did you hear anything about anything in a memorial to another president or anyone historic there?
No, I don't know. Was there?
Well, I think you should know. If you care so much about Obama's administration or Trump's administration, you should care about Obama's.
That's an if. I didn't say I cared so much about it. What I said was, I think it's a real shame they didn't do some salvage work before they tore it down. I think there's no doubt valuable stuff in there. And that's at the very minimum of the trivial thing. And the next point is, it is tearing down an entire wing of the White House, which has been sort of symbolic of our government for quite a while now. And while I understand it's just a building, it's not just a building, right? It's a little different, it's a little different. And if you can't appreciate that, then I don't know.
I do, of course, do appreciate, but it seems like you cared. It seems like you cared less before, or you just weren't as informed before.
When Obama tore down the West Wing, was that what happened, or the East Wing? Which one did he tear down?
When Obama tore down the grass, Obama deported without due process.
The blades of grass is what you're worried
so
about.
tell me why you cared less.
I did not know that.
Tell me why you cared less. Why did you care less?
Which one costs more?
Yeah, which one costs more?
Well, here's what No. What I care, I think if I don't care as much about the grass on the lawn as I do about the
taxpayer funded $300 million he costed us.
Okay, how much is Trump's tariffs costing us right now?
So the tariffs are actually a strategic economic move, which is actually helping the United States. And if they were so bad, why did Biden still keep them? Stop.
There were no tariffs on Madagascar vanilla for Biden to keep. There are now tariffs on Madagascar vanilla.
If tariffs didn't work, why do you use them?
The tariffs are not fundamentally a bad thing. The question is, why are we supporting Argentina's economy to the tune of $40 billion of guarantees, which we're more or less likely to lose because their economy is not good. And part of the reason their economy, and then why are we, for example, going to have to subsidize our American farmers because Brazil is going to be replacing us in our agricultural export markets. That's costing us a lot of money that is more or less the direct result of the tariffs.
Sure, and I think we can both agree. It sounds like you're America first like I am. I think we should, instead of sending $40 billion to Argentina, we should send it and keep it in the country.
We should use the $40 billion to build a bigger ballroom, right? No, we have no need for a ballroom, period. It's just like, sure, whatever.
But we have need for a basketball court.
The basketball court costs $300 million?
Absolutely, of taxpayer-funded dollars.
That's wonderful. I did not know it cost $300 million.
So you're against the basketball court that was built?
I certainly hope that then Trump is not going to replace the basketball court because that would be a bad investment.
It's with his money, though.
A valuable one.
So I would like you to just say you were against Obama's building of the basketball court.
No, I'm not.
Really? So why are you against Trump's but not Obama's when it actually costs the taxpayer dollars?
Okay. Because tearing down the East Wing is, you could build, if you want to build a ballroom, it's not really clear why you need to tear down the East Wing of the White House, all right? You know, for example, if Trump wants to build a memorial to himself, that's fine. But if in order to do it, he has to tear down the Lincoln Memorial, or just maybe knock down the statue and put his own statue there in the same spot,
Yeah.
I'd be opposed to that. Because it's just
He's not removing the White House.
There's zero need to destroy a piece of the White House to build a ballroom.
That correlation's terrible. You're saying to wipe out the whole the Lincoln Memorial is not the same.
Just the statue. He could leave the building and stick himself in there. The point being, I would be opposed to that because if he wants to build a memorial to himself, he doesn't have to tear down any of the memorials to anybody else. And since the White House has kind of become it didn't used to be, like when it was first built, it was just a house. But over the centuries, it's become a symbol of America, right? And I don't think he needed to do anything to it. He could build a ballroom anywhere. And so, I just feel like what's the point? Why?
I think it's great to have that in the White House, to have events there. It's more formal. The White House is a very formal place. So, for example, people should dress up in suits, not like terrible clothing like Zelensky does. It's a formal place. Have a ballroom where people can get together.
Elon Musk does, you're opposed?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes. You think Musk should...
John Fetterman, yeah, absolutely.
You think Elon Musk should get out of the T-shirt when he's in the White House?
Absolutely. People should dress up formally in the White House.
Okay.
It's a sacred place to America.
But apparently not to Elon. Yeah.
And he's not exactly tearing down the White House. He's adding an addition to it. It's connecting it to the White House.
Down the East Wing. What is this like? What part of that makes it not tearing it down?
So he's knocking down a wall and connecting it together.
He did not knock down a wall. He removed the East Wing.
Again, you're making it sound like he's tearing the White House apart, and he's not.
It's about a third of it, sure.
And again,
Okay,
I find it crazy. You can say point after. So I find it crazy that you're okay with Obama spending $300 million of our dollars. Donald Trump doesn't spend any of our dollars, and you won't even say that was bad.
Donald Trump just got through saying he was going to spend some of our dollars.
He didn't. I don't care what he says. So is what he does.
Any of it, yeah.
Actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, I'm glad we can agree on something there. He's not using our dollars.
And that's why I'm standing here, because my actions speak louder than my words.
I'm glad you're protesting hardworking immigrants who are being deported because they're breaking civil violations. They shouldn't be here in the first place. They're here illegally. That's so. Your action is quite wasteful because they're enforcing law.
Look, there are tons of legal immigrants here who are being deported. If you all of a sudden say we're revoking, the status under which we let you be here legally, because say you were escaping Venezuela because it's run by a murderous dictator, and now we revoke that and say that you're illegal now, we're going to send you back to live with the person who you escaped because, that's like, yeah, fine, send the Jews back to Germany, send these people back to Venezuela. No, support them in the same way. The same way the Ukrainians who are coming over here because their houses have been bombed, we should support them.
He's actually taken in more Ukrainians from this new administration because of what's happening there, along with people in other persecution areas. But people who are here on legal status aren't being deported.
But Venezuela is a persecution area, and he's sending people back there too. And that's all I'm saying is, yeah, we should be supporting people who are here legally. And you don't support them by revoking their legal status and then saying, oh, now you're illegal. That's just totally wrong.
This is not happening. People who have legal status are here legally. They're not being deported. People who don't have legal status who are breaking laws are being deported. That's not happening.
You can believe that. I'm sure it helps you sleep at night, Nathan.
Where did you find that source from?
I don't know. It's one of those things you see on the news when there's some example of somebody who just got rounded up and sent off, and you just go, okay.
So if I state a statistic from the Department of Homeland Security saying that over 90% of illegal immigrants who show up to court hearings have been deported already, or they have pending charges, or their criminal charges already, meaning they're breaking federal law because they're back after an already deportation order has been enlisted to them. So I just sorted a source for you, a source. What is your source? The news, you said. The news, which is an opinionated, not factual.
Okay, wait a minute. How is the news not the facts? I thought you were supporting the news. Where'd you get yours? Did you act?
Department of Homeland Security is where I got it.
Oh, man. So here's the deal. I don't know. The Department of Homeland Security, for example, has not reported. Other independent outlets have found about, the 100 and some number of U.S. citizens who got detained for extended periods of time before being released after having to show their papers. You know, Homeland Security didn't report that. So
ICE has every legal right to detain
no, but
anybody.
they would also have every legal right to report these statistics themselves, as opposed to making independent journalists like yourself dig up those facts, right? And they aren't reporting it because they're not really representing us across the board. What they're doing is they're busy doing what we would call politicizing their actions, as opposed to saying, here's if the local police department, for example, arrests somebody and then they find out they got the wrong guy, they issue a statement saying, we are releasing this person because we discovered that we arrested the wrong guy. We got the wrong Nathan, right? And they say so, as opposed to making somebody dig that up and tell it. They don't just like push it off to the side and hope no one notices. And so that's the kind of thing that I have a problem with the government right now, is that it's not doing what, you know, the kind of basic, what do you call it, integrity that I kind of expect, like, and you see it, right?
There's nothing illegal about this, though.
No, it's not illegal for somebody to act without integrity. Thank goodness, or lots of us would have moments in our lives where we'd be breaking the law.
Yeah. No, I'm saying it's not illegal for them to detain people, is what I'm saying.
It is certainly illegal, in my view, and obviously the Supreme Court at the moment disagrees on the basis of, say, the color of their skin or their location.
That's not true.
The Supreme Court said it was.
They're not enforcing that. That is not true.
In an opinion by Mr. What's his name? Brett Kavanaugh. You know, Brett Kavanaugh had an opinion where he said it's not a big problem because that was the case, right? If people get arrested because of the color of skin, the language they're speaking, or their location, like if they're hanging out in front of a Walmart or whatever. And, you know, he said it would be okay because, you know, it'll just be a temporary thing on their lives. You know, that is detaining people on the basis of the color of their skin.
That is not happening, though. That is an absolute fallacy. They argued over it in the Supreme Court, which is what they do, but they're not enforcing that. That's a lie.
Well, right, what do you mean they're not enforcing what? I don't know.
It's not a policy. It's not a policy for them to do.
So it doesn't happen.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's not a policy.
Fine, so it doesn't happen.
That's not what I just said.
Oh, it's not their stated policy. I'm saying
it's not being enforced.
I'm saying it clearly is happening, because otherwise it wouldn't have been in a case in front of the Supreme Court. To get there, you have to have a set of factual findings at the trial court. Yeah. So there were factual findings that it did happen.
Sure, and I never claimed it didn't. But another fact is over 70% of illegal immigrants who are here are from South America and Hispanic countries. That's according to Department of Homeland Security, once again, meaning the majority of people who are getting deported are going to be Hispanic.
Sure. And the majority of white-collar criminals on Wall Street are white and went to Ivy League schools. And that doesn't mean you should be able to detain them and just to check them out to see if they're committing white-collar crime on Wall Street, right?
Absolutely. We have mass amnesty. They need to do everything to create mass deportation.
That's the point. You need to have particularized suspicion before you can arrest somebody.
Not legally, they don't have to. Forms of 200 and 205 give ICE the absolute ability to detain anybody without any sort of suspicion. Patriot Act, that's fact.
The Patriot Act is sort of lower down level in terms of the hierarchy of authority to the Constitution. And, you know, illegal search and seizures. Yeah. So you can't just, according to previous thing, and that's why Brett Kavanaugh's little thing, his concurrence, was so sort of like, huh? It's because it's been a long time that we basically said, no, it's an illegal seizure of your person, you know, deprivation of your liberty, unless we have some particularized concern, something we can say about you in particular, as opposed to, you know, you're in a place where criminals sometimes are. Sure. So, you know, like you're walking down a street and you get arrested on, you know, suspicion of soliciting prostitution or something. And the reason is because here is a place where people do that, right? Yeah. That would be, you can see, you know, of course it'd be different because it would be you. But
you're trying to say that they don't have any evidence or anything like that. But people, they need warrants for searches of property and searches of person or entry to a house. They don't need a warrant from a judge to detain or arrest. They have administrative warrants, which gives them the authority to do so, meaning they aren't infringing on any rights. They aren't infringing on any rights.
I didn't say that.
You are. You said the Patriot Act is lower than the Constitution.
It is.
So, and I just said they're not infringing on any rights. So there's nothing wrong doing happening
rights here. Is not to be detained absent particularized suspicion. In other words, not to be detained just because of something like you got brown skin or you're speaking Spanish or you're standing around in a place where immigrants sometimes stand around or frequently even stand around. Just because you happen through that place is not particularized suspicion. It has to be of you, Nathan, not of you, Nathan, who has some shared characteristics with some other people who we have in the past justifiably had, particularized suspicion of, right? And that's just, that's it. And that was always the rule. And that's why I was, again, like I said, really kind of head scratching when you saw Kavanaugh's it was a concurrence and it wasn't a final decision, but it was.
Exactly, yeah.
But the point is, it basically said that is okay if that continues for now until we get to
That's
the
not true. They're not saying it's okay.
He did.
He did not.
That's what he said.
Did you read the Supreme Court order after they talked about this? Because it absolutely states in there that they can't do it.
I read his little thing where he said it's not that big of a deal.
Their dialogues are different from what's being enforced. They have those dialogues to go cross each other, cross paths.
I understand. Brett Kavanaugh is not out on the streets doing anything with anybody.
That's not what I'm saying.
So, yes. But the point is, he said it would be okay.
Doesn't mean it's being enforced.
The reason it was a case in front of him was because, again, there had been a finding of fact at the trial court that this had happened, that without particularized suspicion, people were being picked up.
You just don't understand how the Supreme Court works.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you don't, because they
don't understand how the Supreme Court works either, so let's go.
It doesn't.
No, come on.
It doesn't, because what they do is they come together and they debate each other. That's what they're doing. That's his debate.
No, this was a judgment. This was a decision on their part.
It was not a decision. That's not true. That's an absolute fallacy. That's not true. They're not enforcing it. That's not true.
They lifted a stay. They made a difference.
You're spewing what the mainstream media spews, which is just a complete lie.
I'm spewing what the opinion said. You said look for facts. I read the opinion, and this is what it said.
You're reading the opinion of the judge, not the case itself. The case is different than the opinion of a judge.
Right, and that's the decision.
It wasn't the decision. No, that's his opinion. That's different. That's different,
right,
sir.
So the opinion is an explanation of the decision, and the decision was.
No.
It was to lift the stay.
Okay, I'm gonna come back to you if you want, but it was a pleasure seeing you again. I'm gonna talk.
In the meantime, go look that one up.
I've read it. You are. You haven't clearly. No, or you didn't understand it properly.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't. I think you didn't understand it properly. I think you may have been biased.
I'll come back to you. So, I don't think he understands how the Supreme Court works. They all come together. And they dispute it. They debate each other and what their vote's going to be. They decide what they're going to enforce, what this case means. If Kavanaugh says one thing, it doesn't mean that's what's going to be enforced. It doesn't mean that's the law of the land afterwards. The Supreme Court lays down the law of the land. If Kavanaugh has an opinion, that doesn't mean that's going to be enforced. That's just his opinion. In that case, they're not enforcing you to sit here and say, oh, you can enforce race or ethnicity as suspicion to somebody. That's not happening whatsoever. That's a complete fallacy, and I don't know why he doesn't understand that. There's people, it was 40 degrees earlier, now it's about 50. A little chilly, and they're wasting their time out here in the cold on a Saturday, and they can't speak why they're out here. They can't speak on facts. They don't know cases. They don't know laws or policy. They don't know immigration laws. And I find it quite amazing that people are so passionate about their opinions that they can't even defend them with facts. It's just emotion. It's just opinion from the mainstream media. They're being told what to do, what to think, what to say. And it's honestly very scary that people are so easily indoctrinated by the mainstream media and by lies. Brings them out here to come down every Saturday. She's trying to speak to me from afar, but once I get close, she is quiet. She likes to do a little drive-by of a little speaking to me. But again, they don't want to speak because I'll disprove their facts, their logic, why they're out here. And it's, like I said before, it's very scary and it's dangerous that people are this easily persuaded to believe something that they can't even back up. You can stop it. Yeah, absolutely. What's your question?
Who taught you how to read?
I was taught in school how to read.
So you need to read this again because you read it wrong.
I can't. It's all wrinkly. I do care. Do you? Or don't you? Oh, okay. So do you care about America then?
Of course. And also I'll read this. This is my statement for the day.
Why should Trump go?
This is my statement.
Once again, like I said, they take time to be here. They take time in their day to sit down at their table, at their dinner table, to paint on a sign and write a message that they can't even defend. It's scary that they believe these things. No. All right, just finished up the protest in Hadley, Massachusetts. Once again, there's people out here who can't even defend their own points. They're out here protesting, wasting their Saturday, and they're indoctrinated by the mainstream media, and they can't even talk about what their own formed opinions are, but in reality, they're opinions of someone else, a whole different agenda. You can follow me on all platforms, yankeenews.1776, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.